was just hanging for a long time, and I finally got around to it. It was a little bit over dry, but I think she'll be all right.
Awesome. We had American Thanksgiving yesterday.
That's right. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone there.
Yeah, Shark says happy late Thanksgiving, boys. Unfortunately, we had ours back in October.
Yeah, the Canadians have it earlier.
Yeah, you know what? I don't mind that though, because Christmas comes up so fast after American Thanksgiving. We've had a bit more of a spaced out holiday. We're gonna have Mama Kush join us in a bit when she comes in, and we're also gonna have Mr. Ganix, I believe. So it should be a fun episode.
Yeah.
And the idea for today was talking about our first grows.
Right.
So maybe before they get in here, do you want to start off with yours, or you want
Yeah,
to start
actually
off with
before
mine?
that, let's just remind everyone what's going on in our campaign. We're almost 30% funded already on the Bud Cups, which is super exciting, guys. It means that in 3 days we got to pretty much a third of our goal, and we still have 28, 29 days to go. This means the Bud Cups are really going to become a reality. We can't wait. Oh, that's the cabbage right there.
Killaby Grow, welcome to the chat. My Green Grow Me, welcome to the chat. Mama Kush is here. Hi, Mama Kush. We'll get you in a minute. Sorry to cut you off there, H. Keep going.
Yeah, no, so we are super excited about these products. You know, the more time goes on, the more of a reality they become, the more we see support. Today, we just got an order from Europe, which is super exciting. So these are going to make their ways all the way to Europe. And we're super pumped. If you guys haven't gotten your hands on the Bud Cups yet, these are the future of transplant cups. All you have to do when your plant's ready for transplant is pop the bottom, have a peek at your roots, and if they're ready, you just go and transplant.
Hey, Mama Kush.
Hello, Mama Kush. We're just doing a little root porn demo here.
And we got Mr. Ganix in the house now too. Sorry to the people on YouTube, you're not going to see this, but if you flip over to Instagram, you will. I'm going to rotate this camera so H can see you guys in your lovely shirts.
Hello, guys. Oh, yeah. Everybody wearing yellow and black. I love it. There we go. Yes. Repping BudTrainer.
So, guys, what we thought for today was we'd, after some quick announcements on the Bud Cups, obviously, maybe just talk about our first grows. I know I had a very rough experience the first time growing, and now I'm growing stuff that I don't even want to give away because it's so good. So everybody else can find their own stuff because I love mine so much. H probably has a similar story as well. So what do you guys think about that? Good stuff.
How about we start with Mama Kush? How was your first grow, Mama Kush?
My first grow was not very successful at all. I did not know how to grow. I am notorious for saying I had a black thumb. I treat plants do not come naturally to me. Everything I've learned, I've had to study and test and work out on my own. But my first grow, I used general hydroponics nutrients, just from the garden store, nothing fancy. And I barely got anything out of it. It was depressing, and it was actually it was almost heartbreaking. I almost didn't continue on because I'm like, okay, well, it's not for me. And then I thought, no, I'm gonna try again. And I tried organic the next time, and what a world of difference! What a difference! I found what clicked for me at that point, and what I needed. I didn't need to be measuring and doing all of this stuff. I don't have time for that. So all this fancy stuff. Yeah, it was a learning experience for me the first one.
So did you make it all the way with like a feminine plant, or was it like a herm?
No, it was feminized, but it was just small. Like I barely got anything off of it. Like it was, I don't think I even took a picture of it. It was so tiny.
Yeah.
But I got to harvest. And I got to smoke it, and I learned so much from that first grow.
Do you remember what strain it was?
My very first one, I'm gonna say Crown Royal, but I know that's wrong. It was either the Crown Royal or the Josie Joe. Those are, I kind of got them at the same time. I can't remember which one came first, but I ended up cloning it and running it for like 5 years.
Oh wow. Yeah, the first one's always a struggle. What about you, Mr. Organics? How did you start out? Was it a successful first run?
Yes and no. Kind of similar story. I mean, I made it to harvest, but I started off with bag seeds outdoors, so we're all in the same area kind of thing. So when we went legal here in Canada, 2018, I started a bunch of bag seeds, and I didn't know male, female. I didn't know until I had a buddy come over and go, "Those are all males. What do you do?"
Oh no.
I was like, "Oh, okay. So what do I do with those? You kill them." I think I had five left that were female. I had like 20 seeds or something.
Yeah.
So I kept 2, gave 3 away, and I made it to harvest. But I went to Canadian Tire and I bought like blood meal, bone meal, and chicken manure, and that was what I added to my backyard dirt that I dug up from the back of the yard and filled some buckets up, and then I ended up putting one in the ground. I want to say out of the 2 plants, I think I might have got like 2 ounces. You know, wasn't the greatest, but I made it to harvest, and it was the best weed I ever smoked because it was my yours.
Yeah. No, that is funny. Like mine was god awful. I spent no time drying it or curing it properly. It was like I put it in the crawl space underneath my stairs. The humidity in there was probably like 30%. I don't even think I had a fan on it. And like I checked it like 3 or 4 days later, and it was like crumbling and falling apart already. Smelled like pure hay. But the funny part was I was in a condo at the time, so I had like a little balcony that had nowhere enough sun to actually properly feed the plant. So I ended up with probably like a 7-foot tall plant out of these super big plastic pots. And I tied one string. This was my early introduction to low stress training. But I tied a string from one edge to the top and just made like a candy cane look to it. But they were so tall because they were stretching to find the light that it just looked so awkward. So it was like 4 like 7-foot tall plants in this tiny little balcony space. But yeah, what about you, H?
Yeah, we all have our first times, and like you said, Mr. Organic is always the best stuff you've consumed. But to anybody else watching, it's definitely not something worthy of consumption at all, right? And I feel the same way as well. Like when I first started, we were living not in this house here, but kind of like a basement apartment that had a big backyard. And it had a lot of humidity as well, which wasn't great for like powdery mildew and all of that. But my neighbor at the time, right next door, had started a bunch of plants. This was already, post legalization in Canada. And he said, "Oh, do you want a couple of those plants that I'm growing? They're already in their final pots." There were little seedlings at about this stage right here. This is how big they were, but they had just been transplanted into their final pots. So I said, "Yeah, I'll take a couple of plants." So took them and then ended up planting them in the ground and had, I think, a pretty decent yield per plant in terms of like maybe I got 3 ounces per plant, which was pretty decent. But the quality of the bud, again, I consumed it and I loved it. But when I look at it today, and I still have pictures of it, and I look at this and I'm like, oh my God, I would not be consuming this today. I would be like, that would be the type of stuff I make hash with today,
That's funny. I think I still have pictures of my first grow too, actually, now that I think about it.
Right on, yeah, it's interesting to see it. But I remember, like Mama Kushi was saying, a lot of people that will get discouraged after that first grow and then they'll give up on it. In fact, I think about every year, like this year, a number of people grew for the first time. How many of them didn't have a good experience but didn't persist, but instead gave up? That's kind of like where we wanted to start BudTrainer, to help those people to be like, don't give up. There is a better way to do it. It's not that difficult. You just have to add a little bit more effort, some products around it, and then you can really get to that result, and then you want to do it over and over again. Same thing with cooking. If you try cooking and you're terrible, people are not going to want to eat your food, and you're not going to cook anymore. You know what I mean? So I think that with cannabis, you become your own judge, and different than cooking where we can tolerate it. Like when we grow for the first time, it's one thing, but once we keep growing and we grow something really good, but then we grow something really bad, and like, I don't want to consume that either, right? Because you know how like what standard you can get to, right? So hopefully more and more people decide to not give up after their first grows, and they stay and they continue on honing their skills and becoming better as they go. You know, it's like cooking. It doesn't take cooking once for you to know how to cook. It takes cooking multiple times, right? And burning whatever you're doing a bunch of times too, and so on.
Before you get good at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Only takes 4 months to make a meal when it's cannabis. You know, it doesn't take.
Well, that's the heartbreaking thing when it doesn't turn out well. It's just like that's, you know, a third of the year, or if you're growing something with a longer flower period, it's like almost 5 months or 6 months, right? So you really want to make sure you're doing things the right way and following the right people, getting the right advice. Because my second, third, and fourth grows weren't much better because I was taking maybe 1/10 of his advice when I should have been taking all 10 out of 10 points. Yeah, so I mean, I even switched to using distilled water, which is a bit of a pain to go and grab it. But my tap water was coming out at like a 0.7 EC, and just all the crap that they put in tap water to make it safe to drink, like the fluoride and all the calcium, especially where we're from in KW. We have some of the hardest water in all of Canada. So that plant was, like mine specifically, we're getting nutrient lockout, and then I'm trying to figure out what I need to add, and it's really what I needed to subtract to make it a better grow. So the nuances.
So are you guys using RH water now then?
Sorry, say it again?
RO water, sorry. Are you guys using RO water now then?
Eventually I'm going to get an RO system. I actually have an account with a water distribution company in KW, so I just get 4 18-liter jugs of distilled water because I'm growing in cocoa as well, so you kind of have to feed nutrients every time anyway. So I figured I'd try distilled because that's the purest form, but even that I probably would be better off with reverse osmosis because I do run into some calcium deficiencies from time to time. So maybe RO will be the way to go, and that's what a lot of people use, I think.
Yeah, it's a couple of $100, I think, for an RO water system for a small one. You can go upwards of like hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars if you want the fast ones. But if you have time and you can, you know, wait for a very slowly dripping system to fill up your buckets, it's fine, right? Leave it overnight, it's full, and now you have water. I've seen systems, I don't have an RO water system here. That's probably next year's project, but some people that will have it on that little buoy that just like the valve stops once it gets to that height, right? And then you always have RO water ready to go. So what I've been looking to get here is like kind of like those 200-gallon, I think, is that what they are? 200-gallon, those big blue bins, you know, like you fill with water. So
that sounds like a lot, but maybe like 50-gallon drum.
50-gallon drum, not 200-gallon. Yeah, 200-liter drum. That's right. Yeah, 50 gallons. There we go. So I know. So those big ones, that's kind of like that holds a lot of good water there and dechlorinates it over time and so on as well, right? Because that's the other thing too, taking water out of the tap. One thing that I didn't realize, which was one of those problems that persisted for a long time, I always kept blaming the nutrients, is if you have, like using tap water, even water that's harder has a lot of calcium, magnesium, you just have to not give it too much more CalMag, right? And then you kind of compensate. But the problem is when you use a water softener will take the calcium and magnesium, but it will actually replace it with sodium, for example, and other salts. So your EC comes out the same, and the water softener with those extra salts, your plants absorb them too, but they just don't have use for them. So they end up actually causing nutrient toxicities and so on, which is not good. So if you have your tap water is coming out and you have a softener, the best thing to do is before you take your water out to override it. So there's usually a valve or something you can pull so that it bypasses, a bypass valve. Yeah, so you bypass it, get your water out. I have to do this every time. And then I take my plant water out and then I turn it back on so that you don't get that water softener water.
You guys, you guys had a pretty cool guest on a couple weeks ago, or a week ago, I guess. We used to do some bud reviews briefly on YouTube, and I don't know if you remember the guy that was dancing. He was teaching people about the lollipop pigeons 420. So they actually had him on last week. I saw one of your clips, which was cool, about him supporting the November like men's mental health thing. So that's a really cool thing that he got behind. But if you guys could maybe bring us up to speed on some of the cool stuff that you learned from him, that would be cool to hear.
Well, that was quite an interview for me. That was my bad girl moment. He was my white whale. I'm like, oh, if I could get pigeons, only if I could get pigeons for an interview, and I finally did. So that was wonderful. He is such an amazing human being. Like not just a grower, but a human being. Like he is so thoughtful and involved in his community. And the November campaign that he had running, it was about a 3-hour marathon he had, and
Yeah, at least, if not even more than that.
maybe 3 or 4 hours, and he surpassed his goal that he was trying to raise for men's mental health. And they had a bunch of wonderful men come on and just talk about their mental health. You know, it was a great conversation starter, and the chat was right into it. It was absolutely fabulous. So I was glad we were able to help in any little way to help promote that for him any way we could. It was such a wonderful cause.
Yeah.
And
That's excellent.
he's so good at doing his show. Like I've never seen anybody so good at talking to themselves.
Yeah.
But he comes on, he engages with the audience, he talks to everybody, he answers everybody's questions, he just engages with everybody and involves everybody. It makes you feel like you're part of it, even when you're just in the chat, you're watching along, and he makes you really feel like you're actually part of the show when you're watching. So
Excellent.
no, he was really good down on the show.
Yeah, he's definitely creative with his videos. Like, I don't know if you saw the video we were looking at, but he was trying to explain like lollipopping and dance, and it was definitely an interesting video to watch. But a cool way to kind of cement the knowledge in, right? Like I had a business law teacher.
Right now, you remember it now. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's stuck in your brain, right? Everybody learns differently, and some people need humor to learn. You know, so any way we can cement the joke, there's somebody out there to listen to us.
Yeah, I had a teacher once for business law, and she would always use examples from like popular sitcoms and TV shows. So it was just like she'd remind me of the character, I would think about that specific law or something like that. I'm just gonna flip around.
Yeah. Let's have a look at all these roots and see how different roots look different. You know, we can look at some cannabis roots, and then you can look at cabbage roots, you can look at pepper roots, you can look at cauliflower roots, and see how these all look.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
How's your plant going? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
she's
let's-
getting there.
Let's have a look.
H wants to see, so don't put it away quite yet.
Oh wow, look at that. Look at those. Yeah, right on.
Awesome. Have you popped it and checked out the roots yet? It's still a little bit young, but
Yeah, I think it's a little too early. Probably next week I can. We're about 1, 2, 3, 4 notes right now. So,
perfect.
Well, I mean,
bent over this morning, but she got her first exercise.
Oh, nice.
We're getting there.
Beautiful.
so let's actually, the thing about these here, Mama Kush, is that you can actually start looking at your roots pretty early on, because the root ball, it stays pretty intact. So right here, you can see that there's, on this small seedling, there's not that much going on right now. Let's actually get the camera closer up here, and we'll be able to look at them.
Cool. We got one question on the YouTube chat. One question on the YouTube chat. Are those the new cups, right? The super
Yes.
tough ones?
The super tough one.
I think he's referencing the gym video with
Yes,
that.
I know.
Yeah.
So,
I love that video with all the weights.
Yeah, that was a fun one to shoot. Thanks to our local gym for letting that go through, even though we didn't ask.
so this here is a seedling that's been growing for just over a week now. It's pretty small, as you can see. So we're gonna pop the bottom here. Let's get real close, Curtis, to see if we can peek at any roots. There's not, like, I can see tiny little roots starting to peek out of the side, but not much, as you can see. The root ball is still, holding together here, which is good. So we're gonna put it back and leave this one alone. Now this one here is a week ahead of that one. So let's have a look at this one here, see if there's some roots already. Oh yeah, this one already has some roots showing on the sides over here, right? So as we can see, they're already starting to develop and form, which is great, right? So it doesn't take... Come again?
What a difference a week makes.
I know, exactly, right? And that's the beauty, is getting roots on the top here, because when you transplant, then those roots, they shoot out in all directions. Right now, this one here has been, it's maybe another week and a half ahead of that one, and it hasn't been popped ever. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, look at those. So there's definitely a lot more roots on the sides here now forming, right? As we can see here.
The roots are going straight down as well, which is lovely.
Yeah, exactly. So this one here is already strong enough that I can see, it's already strong enough I can pick it up from the stem, but yeah, those roots at the bottom are forming pretty well. So I'm gonna put this back. And now this one here is one we were using for a time lapse. It got some deficiencies because it's cocoa and I was using the same nutrients I'm using for my soil ones, but nonetheless, it developed some pretty decent roots over here as well. As we can see, this one is 4 weeks old, so ready for transplant now. And then we have some different roots here. Let's look at what they look like. I actually haven't seen, this is a cabbage plant here. As you can see, the leaves, they're kind of small because, you know, it's been in this cup since the start and it's already a couple of months old. So let's pop this root out and have a look at them. Look at that. Look at those roots on that cabbage plant. They're everywhere. The little bottom plates, sometimes they get stuck. You just gotta pull them out. But as you can see here, they're nice and healthy. They don't curl around too much. You know, they actually get a lot of variation. So I'm actually gonna pop this bottom back in.
So Grow Portal here on YouTube said he didn't even realize the bottoms popped. So you gotta check out some more of our shorts, buddy. We got lots of content showing the transplant, the triple drainage. Appreciate you jumping in the chat and asking these questions, for sure.
Look at these ones. Look at these roots here on this pepper plant. These ones are going crazy here. And this pepper plant's already starting to put the little peppers out, even inside of the cup. Look at that. That's a little pepper right there coming out. Oh, we have. Yeah, I'm gonna transplant these this weekend. And this here is a cauliflower plant that we got. So as we can see here, less roots than the other ones. It's just as old, but still holding up pretty good. Lots of roots everywhere. And that's what these different roots here kind of look like. That's the beauty about these cups. It's how easy it is to just pop it, have a look at it. If it's not ready, you just pop it back down. And then when it's ready, you just go into transplant. Super easy to wash them and reuse them again. Dishwasher friendly, as Mama Kush loves it. That's it.
Mama Kush, you. Yeah, H had to miss out on that one, but yeah, that was great. It's
I watched it after, actually. I remember.
Yeah. Do you guys grow any other crops? Yeah, that cone shape is great. Yeah. Do you guys grow anything else other than cannabis, like in the summer especially, Mama Kush? Or go ahead. Yeah, there you go. Well, you'd have to go down another rabbit hole to learn about each plant, I guess, because. Yeah. Oh, you had a little pest take it away from you or something? Wow, that's so rude.
Unreal.
What about you, Mr. Organics? Do you grow anything else?
I did tomatoes this year, and then I did some like herbs and stuff like that. I did like basil and arugula. What else did I do? Like there was parsley in there.
Nice.
I did like so I did in a big 25-gallon BudTrainer pot.
Nice.
I did one big tomato plant in the center of it, and then I did all my herbs around it, kind of like a
Nice,
cool.
yeah.
And then I did like marigolds in my other one with some like cover crop and stuff in there. But I used to have an actual big garden, like a raised. I think it was the one was 10 feet long by 5 feet wide, and then I had 2 more boxes beside it that were 5 by 5, and then like 2 kind of step downs that were 10 feet long by 1 feet by
Nice.
1 foot wide. So we did all our herbs in the little ones, and then had a full one that was all strawberries and sunflowers and tomatoes, and we used to do lemon trees. We used to have, I had a 7-year-old lemon tree that was in a 30-gallon pot that I dragged outside in the summertime, and then in the
Oh, wow.
wintertime I'd pick this thing back up and bring it back in the house.
Nice.
That's really cool.
Yeah, right.
Did you ever get into like hot peppers or anything? We had Natty on last week, and he had like they got sent to him, but like 3 of those crazy peppers that he was gonna eat.
Oh, yeah.
And he's crazy though.
Yeah.
He's always got some sort of crazy something going on.
It's that Eastern Canadian blood, just tough as nails. Yeah.
That's the cool thing about different plants like that, is that different than cannabis where you have to go through the whole cycle and harvest, these plants, they just keep on giving, right? You can keep on picking little peppers off the plants and tomatoes and so on, because they have those 2 phases at the same time, their flowering cycle and like their non-flowering and their veg cycle at the same time, right? So
Yeah.
I actually learned with hot peppers, most hot peppers, if you want to plant them outside in the spring, now's the time to start them inside. Start them now, and then they'll produce all summer long.
That's
interesting.
awesome. Perfect use for the bud cups. Starting
Yeah.
them inside. Yeah.
Yeah. Start them now, and then put them out the spring once they're already like a mature plant by then, and they'll produce hot peppers all spring and summer long.
Exactly.
Shark in the comments said.
Green peppers, yellow peppers, stuff like that. You can start those in the spring, and they'll produce as well. So.
Yeah. Shark here in the comments says, I grew some crazy peppers this summer, some ghost chili, habaneros, jalapenos, and Mad Hatters. I've never heard of Mad Hatters
Me either,
before.
yeah.
Never heard of
Definitely
that.
want to get into some chilies next year. Yeah, those are cool.
I think those are the little ones. I think they're short and squat, if I
Oh,
remember
right on.
correctly.
Yeah. I like spice in my food. I don't think I'm gonna straight up just bite into one of those.
Yeah, I know.
Crazy peppers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did chili peppers one year, and
I like jalapenos.
It's
we
Janet.
did chili peppers one year, and I was so sick of chili peppers by the end of the summer. I would go out there, and every day there'd be like 15 new ones to pick, and I didn't want to waste them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, it was every meal of the day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, every meal we had chili peppers in our food, and no matter what I ate, it all tasted like chili pepper.
Yeah.
So I was so tired of them by the end of the summer.
Now, if that ever happens to you, you can go ahead and take those excess chili peppers and boil them in water, and you take that water and you dilute it in your garden, and it's pest spray.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
But
Natural
you have to,
pest waste.
I don't know the ratios, but you have to dilute it because it'd be way too
Yeah.
strong for
Pretty strong,
plants. But yeah, if you have excess peppers, you just boil it down and get all the capsaicin and whatever else out of there, and then you strain it off and take that water, and then that's your main water. You just water it into your jug and
Yeah.
Excellent.
Cool. Well, we blew right through 4:20, guys. So I don't know if you guys need a break, but maybe we'll call it a day here and head into our weekends. How's that sound?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It was great to see you guys.
Are you guys doing your show tonight?
Thank you. And
Great to finally meet Gage.
Yeah, you as well, of course, Mr. Gags. It was a pleasure.
Are you guys doing your live tonight still, or taking a break?
No, it's
No, we
daytime at
definitely
9 o'clock Eastern.
Nice, yeah, right on.
So you can pop in and show us what you got growing on. It's the night that we celebrate the growies out there. We want to showcase all the growies out there. So you don't have to show your face to feel too. We just want to see your plants.
Awesome. All right, well, thanks again for joining us, guys.
Yeah,
Check
thank you,
out
guys.
their live tonight if you're there. If you haven't locked down your Bud Cups yet, go to igg.me/@/Bud Cups. Still lots of perks to be locked down there. They'll be delivered in April. You're not going to regret buying these things. They're going to replace your solo cups. They're going to look a lot cleaner in your grow toolbox and give you some awesome benefits with the drainage and the transplanting. Other than that, let's sign off. Eh?
Yeah. Thanks, Mama Kush. Thanks, Mr. Gags, for showing up. And it's always a pleasure to have you guys. Everyone, go give him a follow.
Friday.
Bye-bye. Happy